Hi, and welcome to episode 15 of Tales of Yarnia. This is my podcast all about knitting, a little bit of crochet, and all the crafty things in Cheltenham, in the UK, which is where I live with my other half Jimmy and our yellow Labrador Jonah, who is just wandering around. You can probably hear him walking. I'm just waiting for him to settle down. This is about the third time I've tried to start recording today, because the first time he started noisily chewing on his bone. The second time he then took a massive drink, which is really noisy. So basically everything he does is really noisy, even just walking around. So yeah, I want to say welcome to any returning viewers. Thank you so much for coming back and watching each podcast every time I record. That's just him hitting the table as he lies down. Sorry, and welcome to any new viewers. Thank you so much for giving my podcast a try, and I really hope you enjoy it. So, social media wise, I think I'm going to put at the side, hopefully, everywhere you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. Excuse me. I'm most active on Instagram, but we have also got a Ravelry group, I think called Tales of Yarnia. Can't remember what it's called, which is really bad, but I am Yarnia Designs on there, so if you go to my profile, there should be a link for the group on there. And I've also got my knitting pattern designs on Ravelry as well, which you should be able to find in the down bar. I'll have all the links to everything in the down bar, so it makes it a bit easier. So, on to what I'm wearing. I've shown this quite a few times on the podcast. This is my herbarium sweater. I won't stand up because I've shown it on previous episodes quite a few times. So, but yeah, it's a pattern by NCL Knits, and I knit this in Quince & Co. not Finch. Oh, I can't remember which what the name of their base is, but it's the 4-ply or the fingering weight. I think the colourway is Frost. So yeah, it's a really lightweight, nice airy sweater. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. If you can hear that, that's Jolie yawning out of frustration that he has to sit and wait for me to podcast before he gets his walk. I just find it easier to do it that way round, because you have to spend a lot of time waiting for the podcast to upload at various stages, and I can go and take him out on a longer walk if I get at least some of it done and then do that. But yeah, that's all boring behind the scenes stuff that you're not here to see and hear about. You want, I presume you're all here for the knitting content, so I'll get onto that in a second. Okay, so I haven't got any FOs to show you this time, which I don't know if that's surprising or not. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since I last podcast now, because we've been on holiday. We went to visit my grandparents who live in Devon, and they have now seen that I'm doing a podcast on YouTube. So if you're watching, hello, Grandma and Granddad. I think my grandma has watched one of the episodes now, so and she seemed to enjoy it, so maybe they'll watch some more. Neither of them are really into knitting. I think my grandma used to knit years ago, but neither of them currently knit. So yes. But yeah, so I was saying I haven't got any finished objects, even though I've had probably a lot of time to knit. I've made quite a bit of progress on some projects, so I will dive in and show you my whips. So the first one, I think of my Emerald Fibres bag, which I love, my narwhal on it, and this is my Riley tea living in here, and I'm pretty close to finishing this now. I think the last time I showed it to you, I was still only on the back panel, and I'm sure I was only halfway through knitting the back panel. So I have now finished the front and the back, and I'm working on the sides. So it's starting to look a bit more like a t-shirt. So, but I am using a very small cable to knit this. So one side is all bunched up because it's on the needles, but this side probably more accurately shows what the t-shirt will look like. So you can see it's a V-neck t-shirt, and let's show you the colours first, and then I'll talk more about the construction. Oh, did I say it's the Riley Tea by Amy Christophers? It's in Pom Pom Quarterly, the latest issue. I can't remember which number that is. Might have it written down. It's issue 25, summer 2018. That's the one. But yeah, there you go. So the colours I'm using, yeah, I think you're supposed to use two different sport weight yarns, but I decided to wing it and try it with some fingering weight yarns that I've got in my stash. So the pink colour is Beehive Yarns, and that's the Rose Lichen or Rose Lichen colourway. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that word, because I'm sure people say it different ways, and I googled it, how you're supposed to say it, and it came up with both ways of saying it. So I started off saying Rose Lichen, so I'm just going to go with that. So yeah, that's the pink colour. You can see that has little speckles of pops of green and browns. And then the other colourway, which is the sort of darker grey and brown, is Wollumvine Yarns. Let me see, I might be able to see a bigger section of it on the back. So yeah, the darker one is Vine Yarns. And I think that's on her, is it her blitzed base? Is the sparkly one? And it's Dirty on Purpose. So there we go. So I've spent probably most of my knitting time on this project. And so I don't want to give away too much about the construction, but it's knit in pieces, which I've never done before. So I had to start off, I was knitting the back panel, and I think when I last showed it to you, I was only about up to here on the back panel. So since then I've finished the back and I've completely done the front. And then I've also finished this side as well, which is, you can sort of, I think it's a sleeve cap. So it's wider at the top and then you have some shaping here, and then this will get seamed together. At the moment it's just really open and it's just one long piece of fabric at the moment. But this will get seamed together, and I've never seamed anything together before, so that should be really interesting. So yeah, hopefully by the next time I podcast, that will be finished, because I'm about halfway through the other side. So I've got quite a lot of stitches on the needles at the moment, but it's all bunched up. And then that's the, that's where your head will go. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And I feel quite spurred on to crack on with it and get it finished, because I'm so close to the end now. Oh, here are the balls of yarn. So here is Dirty on Purpose by Vine Yarns, which I absolutely love. And then here is Beehive Yarns in the Rose Lichen colourway, which I really love as well. So yeah, those two. Right, I'll pop that out of the way. And then I've got two more whips that I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show my portage cardigan this time, because I've not made that much progress on it compared with the other projects, and I didn't want this to become too long. So yeah, I'm still on the body of the portage. I've not done, it doesn't look that different to when I last showed you, but I am still really enjoying it. It's just slower progress on that. So. Okay, so other projects I've been working on. My Rick and Morty socks are living in this lovely project bag from Thimble and Thread. It's got tiny foxes and mushrooms, toadstools. I love it. It's really, really good for just, I've always got a pair of socks living in this bag. So, right. Living in here are, as I said, my Rick and Morty socks. So this is just a pair of vanilla socks, or it's currently just one sock. But I'm so close to the end. It's the, what's the colourway called? It's the C137 colourway by Jinx Yarns. So I'm doing this, working this as a toe-up vanilla sock, and I will be putting in an afterthought heel. So I've not included any waste yarn for the heel, and I've not completed any heel on these yet, so that'll be done afterwards. And then I am now onto the ribbing. So, and I'm just using a plain black yarn, which I think is a West Yorkshire Spinners, just a plain black sock yarn. So that should go quite well, I thought, because I think I prefer having a solid colour as the heel and the cuff for a self-striping pair of socks. But I don't mind the toe being in the self-striping colourway. So, especially since it's quite a big section of green as well. So I'll have to make sure when I start the other one that I start at the exact same point in the striping sequence. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Rick and Morty is a cartoon TV show. Not suitable for children. I think it's on Netflix if anyone's interested in giving it a go, but yeah, it's just about aliens and other planets, which is why the colours are so neon green, because I think this colourway is named after one of the planets in the TV show. And then I've got my cute ice lolly, vampire ice lolly progress keeper from Jiggles and Beans living on here too. But I think last time I showed this, must have only been around here. So I've done quite a big section up there. And I think the main time I've worked on this was on Worldwide Knitting in Public Day, which was a really fun day. Becky from the Bird Box podcast, I believe it's called the Bird Box podcast, but she's Bexy Norms on Instagram, and Kate, who doesn't have a podcast currently but might be starting one soon. She's on Instagram, I think K8 Viv, I think might be her Instagram name, but they invited me very kindly to join them in Bath for Worldwide Knitting Public Day. Sorry, it's just Jonah. So I got the train to Bath and met up with them for the first time, which was really exciting. I've never done that before. I've never met anyone in person who I've only spoken to online. So that was really exciting and really fun. I think they live around the Bristol Bath area. So I think Becky definitely knew Bath quite well. And we visited a couple of yarn shops there. So we went to, I think it was called Wool, which seemed like a really, really lovely yarn store in Bath. And then we also went to a Yarn Story, which is where I spent most of my money. And that was a really, really lovely shop as well. And there were so many yarns that I hadn't seen before, and I'll get onto acquisitions later. I'm getting all the sections muddled up today. I should be talking about this towards the end. But yeah, that day, after visiting the yarn shops and getting some lunch, we went to the Royal Crescent, which is a big like crescent of townhouses, I think. And there's this huge park that's just sort of that those houses look out onto, and you can see them from the park. So we went there to just sit and did our knitting in public. So I did quite a bit then, and also on the train journey. So that was my main progress on that. Okay. So I've got one more work in progress. Just need some coffee first. Okay, so on to the last work in progress, and then I've got some acquisitions to show you as well. So the last work in progress is living in my Elden Woodcraft bag, which I love. I think I'll need to get another Elden Woodcraft bag soon. I know she's been making some. I've seen posts on her Instagram with the new fabrics that she's been using, and they're so gorgeous. I might need to indulge soon, but I'm pretty sure her updates sell out so fast, so I'll need to I'll need to be prepared if I'm going to be doing that. Anyway, living in here is a new sock design. It's really, really exciting. So I'll show you the yarns I'm using first, because otherwise I might forget to do that. So this is the combination I'm using. So this is going to be the main colour, and this is the one for the toes and heels. So this one is a stranded dye works yarn, and I think it's the Sugar Plum colourway, which I think is one of her Christmas colourways. But I think it looks really pretty, so I'm just really drawn to it any time of the year. And it's in her BFL base, I think. Yes, there it is. It's the BFL. It might be BFL and nylon. Can't remember. It's a bit warmer looking than it's showing up on the camera. It's a bit more pinky purple, I think, in this light. So, and then the contrast colour, which I'm using for the toes and heels, is actually a leftover from my Spike sweater. So this is the bit that I used for the lace and the colour work on my Spike. And this is a fondant fibre in the jasmine scented evening colourway, and I really, really love this colourway. It's on her MCN base as well, so it's super soft, super, super soft, and so pretty. So yeah, those are the colours I'm using, and the design. I've not made as much progress on as I thought I would, considering I've had so much time off work for our holiday. But I was sort of wanting to work on more mindless things, like the Riley tee, because that's just knit in garter the whole time. So I was really, I just really wanted more mindless knitting, and then my socks as well. Those are the main things I worked on when we were there. So this is what I've done so far. Not sure if you can see because of the progress keeper. I'll just take it off. I'll just show it you first. It's a really pretty unicorn progress keeper by Corner of Craft, Hannah of Corner of Craft. There we go, so I'll be able to see the design a bit better now. So it's sort of got these, they look like flowers to me, or possibly rose hips. That's what they really remind me of, going up the centre. And then I've got sort of a little textured pattern either side going up the sock. So yeah, that's what I've done so far, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm really, really liking the way this colourway is knitting up as well, both of them. Yeah, that's how they're knitting up in stockinette. But yeah, then yeah, I really like this textured bit. I feel like that brings some simplicity to it as well. So yeah. And then I've got these little Harry Potter stitch markers on here as well, just to mark where I'm starting the more complicated part of the pattern. I think I got those from Nora George maybe nearly 2 years ago. I don't know if she still does them, but there's obviously the Hogwarts Castle and then a little lightning bolts. Yeah, really enjoying that. I've no idea when that's going to be finished. But yeah, I'm really enjoying working on it at the moment. I hope you don't mind me showing you works in progress which are designs, because I know obviously the design process takes quite a long time, and obviously what I'm knitting you won't be able to knit straight away if you wanted to, so I hope that's not really frustrating for anyone. But I don't think I mind when other people show their design works in progress on podcasts, so hopefully you don't mind too much. And if you do want to knit it, it's something to look forward to. So yeah, so those are all my works in progress. I did do a little bit of embroidery on holiday, but I don't feel like it's enough to show you progress wise, so I'm not going to show that either today. So I've just got acquisitions to show you, which is quite a meaty section of this podcast. So I was on a bit of a yarn diet before going to Bath to visit all these lovely yarn shops. But I thought because I'm sort of having a really fun trip, I would allow myself to spend a bit, because it's not very often I get to go to proper yarn shops. We don't really have a yarn shop that sells the kind of yarn that I like in Cheltenham. So maybe I'm a bit of a yarn snob, but the only one we've got sells sort of acrylic-y and sort of big name yarn brand stuff, which I probably use for baby knits and things like that. It definitely has its place in my stash, but the things I like to treat myself to are the hand-dyed and the really nice fibres that you find in places like the Yarn Story, and wool in Bath as well. So because I was going on this trip for the day, I thought it would be okay to spend a little on yarn. So yeah, I'll show you that in a second. So all of my spending was from a Yarn Story. So it was so gorgeous. I really loved having a look around all of the wools there. And I was tempted by a lot more than what I bought. So I was sort of good, but not really. I did allow myself to spend more than I planned. But no, well, it's yarn and it's fun and I love it. So the first things that I saw were these skeins of, oh, I don't know how you say it actually. Oshitita? Oh, I'm terrible. Anyway, I'll show you them all together. You can read the label. Oh, I can't hold them. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. So I got 3 skeins, and they're all single ply fingering weight yarns. They're so pretty. So I'll just talk you through the colourways. So this one. Ooh. I'm so unprofessional today. Hopefully you can see all these gorgeous speckles. It's just beautiful. And I can't quite tell what this colourway name is. I think it might be LL La, but I can't quite tell what that says. So yeah, sorry about that. If anyone else can read it, please let me know. There you go. Yeah, look at these speckles. So that was the first one. And I just kept being drawn back to these colourways. And then there's this sort of chocolatey brown coloured one with these like sections of lighter brown speckled with bright pink what's that, like a deep raspberry pink. And it just reminds me of like chocolate brownies. And this one's called Havana. So, sorry. There we go, that's focusing a bit better on that now. I love this colourway. So, and then the final one I picked out is called Cry Wolf. And this is a bit more of a tonal. Is it going to focus? There we go. It's sort of a purpley grey. So, yeah, those are the 3 skeins that I initially had in my hands, carrying around like they're my babies. And then I also looked at the House of Alamode, and I couldn't resist bringing this one home with me. This one is called, the colourway is Antique. What does it say? This one has got nylon in it as well, so it's more of a sock yarn, which is good. So it's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I think it's House Fingering is the name of the base, but it's just so pretty. I love it. So yeah, I sort of we went to the park afterwards and sort of laid out all of our skeins. And even when I was in the shop, I said to Becky, or Becky might have said to me, one of us said, "You've got a purple problem here." And we decided that should be the name of this episode. So yeah, I have got a bit of a purple problem. I was just really, really drawn to everything purple that day. And I have been recently as well. It's everything purple is happening. Even my Riley t-shirt as well. That's purple. Oh, my sock design is purple. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that was my big splurge on yarn on Worldwide Knitting in Public Day. Then I also had another little acquisition that day. Becky from Bird Box podcast was so lovely and gave each of us, me and Kate, little, it looks like a little bag of sweets, which is so cute, but it's even better than a bag of sweets because it's got little mini skeins, little balls, little hand wound balls of yarn. So I'll get these out and show you. Ooh. So what have we got? So, and then she's done, it's so sweet, so lovely and kind. She's hand wound each little ball of yarn. I think all leftovers from her projects, which is really nice. And then attach little labels to each one so that we know what they are. So this one is the Wool Kitchen. What's it called? Grey Fizz Pop from the Wool Kitchen. And I love the Wool Kitchen yarn. I think I've made 2 shawls out of the Wool Kitchen before. And I think the Wool Kitchen was the first skein of hand-dyed yarn that I ever bought. So, oh no, yes, yeah, it was. It was the first hand-dyed skein of yarn I got was from the Wool Kitchen. So that was my gateway into my obsession with hand-dyed yarn. And then we've got this one, which is Stranded Dye Works in Delicate. Which is so pretty. It's such a gorgeous, like purpley mauve. I love that one. And then we've got this one, which is really, really bright and pretty. Please focus. And that one is Ching Fibre in the Flamingo colourway. So pretty. Then we've got this one. It's really, really pretty. And this one is West Green Loft Yarns in the Boudoir colourway. I love that one. And then we've got one more, which is lovely speckles of blue and pinks and purples and I think maybe some greens. Sort of a turquoisey colour. It's so pretty. And this is Pixie Yarns in 22. What was the colourway? It's called 22. So, thank you so much, Becky. That was so lovely of you. I think I'm going to be putting packages together for Becky and Kate soon. Just with some scraps of my, I'll just wind up some minis after some of the scraps in my stash as well. So yeah, that's really, I think it's a really fun idea because then you get to try. Sorry, I'll put that out. You then get to try other yarns that you wouldn't have otherwise known about or tried. So I think, yeah, it's really fun. So I think all of those are going to go into my scrappy crochet blanket. I was working on that last night and I had to resist using those because I wanted to save them for the podcast so that I could show you the little bag of hand-wound minis. So yeah, absolutely love those. I've got one more acquisition, which was something I bought a couple of weeks ago, and it is from Mr. B Yarns. So there's the label, Mr. B. And this is the Just Rust colourway on 75/25 superwash merino and nylon, and I absolutely love this colourway. I saw on Instagram that Mr. B was going to be putting this into the next shop update. This was a couple of weeks ago, and I had my eye on it. I was like, right, I must pay attention to when this shop update is going to be. And then I ended up missing it, and I was so upset. But then I think this one was just so popular, this colourway. I think it had been shown on Hopi Locatelli's one of her YouTube videos. So I think a lot of people had seen it and knew about it, and I hadn't realised it was going to be so popular and I would be missing out. And then luckily they did a dyed to order section as later on. I think the next day they listed it as dyed to order, so I quickly got on that and ordered myself a skein. So this is Mr. B's Yarns. He is also part of the Bird Box podcast, along with Claire from Bird Street UK. So I think this is actually sold in the Bird Street Etsy shop, I believe. So there's 3 of them on the podcast. I think it's John, I think, is the dyer behind Mr. B Yarns. And then Claire makes project bags as part of Bird Street UK. And then Becky is also on the podcast. I think they may have started in January. So I think they tend to do one once a month at the moment, but their podcast is really, really fun. They make some wonderful projects and they are really funny. So you should definitely go and give their podcast a watch. It's really, really lovely. And they have such gorgeous projects and yarn to show off as well. So yeah, I think this is definitely going to become a gorgeous pair of socks. So yeah, those are all of my acquisitions now. I don't know if I will have included videos at the beginning or the end. I think I'll include them at the beginning of the podcast. Or maybe I'll do... At the beginning or the end, you'll see videos from our holiday in Devon and Jonah swimming in the sea for the first time, which was really, really fun. And then I'll also include some footage of my trip to Bath to meet Becky and Kate. So that'll be really fun for you to see. So yeah, I'll round this up now. I'm not sure how long it'll be till our next podcast again. I'm sorry it's been a couple of weeks that you've had to wait for this episode. But I went on holiday, so can't really do much when I haven't got much internet in Devon and I haven't got my usual setup. So yeah, I hope you all have a lovely, crafty couple of weeks, and I look forward to chatting with you all again soon. Bye!